You know, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. That's not just a statement, that's a fact. You can write all the goals you want in your journal, hang them on the wall, dream about them while you sleep, but without discipline, none of it ever shows up. It just doesn't. Most people don't lack the desire. No, they lack the follow-through. They keep saying, I want to be more productive, and yet they snooze the alarm 6 times before breakfast. They keep saying, I want to read more, but they end up scrolling through nonsense on their phone every night. That gap, that's the cost of undisciplined living. So let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you gave yourself a command and actually followed it? Discipline doesn't start when your life gets easier. It starts when you decide. That's right. You draw a line. You say, this is what I do now. You don't debate it. You don't vote on it. You don't run a poll with your friends. You just do it. And that's the beginning of self-respect. If your habits are poor, your self-respect goes with them. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up when it matters. You don't need to be a genius to be consistent. You just need to stop negotiating with yourself. Let me give you something practical here. A 7-day challenge. 7 days of proving to yourself that you can follow through. No theory, no books, just action. Day 1, wake up when you said you would. No snooze, no delay, just up. Sounds simple, right? But that moment you hear the alarm, that's the first fight of the day. Win that one and you carry momentum into the next. Day 2, no sugar, no junk. Not because you're trying to lose weight, but because you're trying to build control. If you can say no to a cookie, you can say no to procrastination. It's not about diet, it's about command. Day 3, read 10 pages of a good book. 10, not 100, not an hour, just 10. Because every disciplined person I know reads. They don't consume entertainment all day. They invest in their minds. Day 4, write down your goals again, not the old ones. Fresh, updated, relevant. Because a disciplined person checks the compass often. You don't drift into excellence, you steer into it. Day 5, exercise. Could be a walk, could be the gym, doesn't matter. You're moving. Because discipline needs energy, and energy doesn't come from lying around hoping for motivation. It comes from movement. Day 6, do the task you've been avoiding. You know the one. That phone call, that file, that conversation. Because procrastination is the language of the undisciplined, and it steals your power in silence. Day 7, reflect. Just reflect. What changed in you this week? How did it feel to live like the person you said you were going to be? That moment of reflection becomes fuel for what comes next. You see, discipline isn't one big decision. It's a series of small ones, repeated. And you can stay disciplined. You just have to build it like muscle. Every choice counts. Now, if you're wondering what makes people lose discipline, it's not laziness. It's forgetting. They forget what they said they wanted. They forget who they said they were becoming. And that's where journaling, reading, and reflection come in. They help you remember. I've met broke people who are incredibly disciplined. And I've met wealthy people who are completely out of control. Money doesn't build character. Discipline does. And character attracts opportunity. Let me be even clearer. If you don't discipline yourself, someone else will. Your boss, your deadlines, the market. Life has a way of forcing structure on the undisciplined, and it's never gentle. So you either suffer the pain of discipline, or the pain of regret. And regret weighs more, every time. If you can't do the hard things now, the easy things later will vanish. That's how it works. You want freedom? Discipline buys it. You want growth? Discipline waters it. You want peace of mind? Discipline defends it. You're one decision away from becoming consistent. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, now. And if you say you'll start tomorrow, guess what? That's your habit. Delaying, pushing, waiting. I've heard people say, I'll be more disciplined once I'm successful. That's backwards. You get successful because you were disciplined when nobody was watching. The quiet moments when you wanted to quit and didn't. That's where discipline is born. You ever see someone walk into a room and just command presence? That's not charisma. That's history. The history of discipline. They built trust with themselves so deep that it leaks into every word they speak. You don't get that from wishing. You get that from showing up when you didn't feel like it. So you want practical steps? Good. I've got 7 for you. And they're not glamorous. Decide exactly what you want. Write it down daily. Create a schedule around it. Set non-negotiable hours. Cut out one distraction a week. Track your behavior, not your intentions. Celebrate small wins with action. not rewards. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters, repeatedly. Discipline is not punishment. It's alignment. When you're disciplined, your actions and your values match. You go to bed knowing you lived the day on purpose. And that's a powerful way to live. Don't wait until you feel like it. The feelings come later. First comes the habit. You can't build a strong house on weak routines. You need structure. You need clarity. And above all, you need consistency. And here's the part nobody talks about. Discipline is contagious. The people around you feel it. They may not say anything, but they start adjusting. Your kids notice. Your friends notice. Your team starts shifting. Because energy is transferable. You become the thermostat, not the thermometer. Discipline isn't just a tool. It's a statement. A statement that says, I am in control of my life. And that's rare. Don't aim to be disciplined for a year. Aim to be disciplined today. That's all. Today. The people who keep showing up, they win. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually always. Because the world makes room for those who refuse to quit. You see, the world makes room for those who refuse to quit. That's the hidden contract life offers. It doesn't reward the loud, it rewards the consistent. The ones who don't negotiate with weakness. The ones who say, this is what I said I would do, and then they go and do it, even when nobody claps. And that's where the second layer of discipline comes in. Emotional discipline. Physical habits are one thing, but emotional reactions, that's where most people crumble. You can wake up at 5 a.m., eat clean, work 12 hours, and still blow it all in one moment of emotional weakness. Say the wrong thing, quit the project, ruin the relationship. That's why mastering your emotions is not optional. You get angry too fast? Fix it. You let sadness run your week? Get a grip. Life doesn't ask if you're in the mood. It asks if you're ready. Let me tell you something harsh but true. The world doesn't slow down for your feelings. You either get disciplined with your emotions, or they'll write checks your life can't cash. And no, discipline doesn't mean you suppress your emotions. It means you control your response. Big difference. You feel the emotion but you don't become it. Someone insults you, you pause. Someone betrays you, you adjust. Someone disrespects you, you elevate. Discipline is not always about doing more. Sometimes it's about doing less, reacting less, proving less, chasing less. That's why I say discipline is a form of wisdom. It's knowing when to move and when to wait, when to speak and when to be silent, when to push and when to walk away. And guess what? Most people don't have that. They're reactive. They wake up and let the day run them. Every text, every post, every headline. They're just tugged like a kite in a storm. But you need to become the one who steers, who leads, who builds the day instead of surviving it. If your mornings don't belong to you, your life doesn't either. That's where real discipline starts. Before the noise, before the world wakes up, before the demands hit your phone, you own that first hour. What do you do with it? Do you build? Do you reflect? Or do you surrender it to distraction? Let me make it clear. A distracted mind is an undisciplined life. You can't have sharp results with a foggy focus. And if you think you can multitask your way to greatness, let me save you years you won't. Discipline means single-tasking what matters, blocking out what doesn't, telling yourself the truth about what is essential and cutting what isn't. Yes, cutting. You can't carry everyone and everything. Not if you want to move fast. And the more serious your goals become, the more narrow your focus must be. That's why the discipline look boring on the surface. They're not jumping from thing to thing. They're digging deep in one direction. Focused, calm, predictable in the best way. People say you've changed. Yes, that's the point. You're not supposed to stay the same. You're supposed to evolve. Discipline is change. Now let's talk about the real enemies of discipline. The hidden ones. Comfort. That's number one. Comfort whispers, you've done enough. Comfort tells you to take the day off because you worked hard yesterday. Comfort makes excuses sound like logic, but comfort is a liar, a sweet-talking thief. It'll steal your edge in silence. Second, delay. Not laziness, delay. The discipline killer that shows up dressed like productivity. You say, I'll do it after I finish this other task. But that task was never urgent. Just a distraction dressed as a to-do. Discipline means doing the important, not just the urgent. Third, validation. You get addicted to applause, to comments, to metrics, and before you know it, you're performing instead of building. That's not discipline. That's dependence. Discipline doesn't need a stage. It works in silence. I've seen people throw away years of progress because they weren't clapped for in the last 30 days. That's not discipline. That's ego. So ask yourself, do you want results or recognition? One is permanent. The other is rented. Let me take it further. Discipline makes you dangerous. Why? Because it gives you control in a world where most people are reacting. It makes you calm when others panic, focused when others are scattered, resilient when others quit. That kind of person is rare. And the rare become valuable. Think about this. In a room full of scattered thinkers, the focused one dominates. In a market full of quick content, the consistent creator wins. In a workplace full of excuses, the executor becomes a leader. You don't have to be the smartest. You just have to be consistent. And consistency is a discipline. Now let me bring you back to the 7-day challenge, but this time deeper. See, the real test is what happens after the 7 days. When the adrenaline wears off, when nobody's watching, when the novelty fades, that's where discipline is either born or buried. And that's why I want you to repeat it. Not because you need to restart, but because repetition builds belief. The more you do something, the more your mind accepts it as identity. And identity is the foundation of long-term discipline. If you only view discipline as a temporary effort, you'll always burn out. But if you start viewing it as who you are, now you've got power. I am a disciplined person. That's a sentence you need to speak. Not when you feel it, but when you don't. That's when it matters. Let's look at your life right now. Look around. Your results? That's discipline. Or the lack of it. Your health. Your money. Your relationships. Your calendar. Every area speaks the truth loud and clear. You want to improve something. Inject discipline. You want better health. You don't need magic. You need repetition. Nutrition. Movement. You want financial freedom. Spend less. Invest more. Track every dollar. You want peace of mind. Turn off the noise. Protect your mornings. Say no to what drains you. You want stronger relationships. Be present. Be consistent. Stop promising and start delivering. The formula isn't secret. It's just ignored. People chase hacks, tricks, secrets. But the truth is, boring discipline wins. Every time, in every field. It's not flashy, it's not exciting, but it works. You can be the most talented person in the room, but if you're undisciplined, the world will never see your full potential. Because your actions will always sabotage your gifts. Talent is a multiplier, but discipline is the base. Think about this, a 5/10 talent with 10/10 discipline outperforms a 10/10 talent with 2/10 discipline. Every single time. So stop trying to be extraordinary in moments, and start being reliable daily. That's the foundation. That's the edge. The world is not short on dreamers. It's short on finishers. Don't just start, finish. You know why people don't finish? Because they get bored. They think the magic is gone, but it's not. It just moved beneath the surface. Discipline teaches you to love the grind, to find satisfaction in execution, not just excitement. You want to be powerful, then do boring things better than everyone else. Because real mastery isn't in the big moments. It's in the little ones, the invisible ones, the invisible ones, the ones where nobody is cheering. That's where you win. Now here's something else most won't tell you. Discipline is lonely. Yes, I said it. You will lose people. You will lose conversations. You will be misunderstood, because most people are addicted to average, and discipline breaks that mold. When you start showing up early, saying no, choosing long-term over short-term, you disrupt the comfort of others. And they don't like that. But you keep going. You keep choosing growth. Because the only thing worse than being misunderstood is being unchanged. So let them misunderstand. Let them joke. Let them roll their eyes. Because one day, those same people will ask you how you did it. And your answer will be simple. I did what I said I would do. That's the legacy of discipline. And no, it's not about being hard on yourself. It's about being honest. There's a difference. Discipline doesn't say be perfect. It says be aligned. Aligned with your values. Aligned with your vision. Aligned with your word. When your calendar reflects your goals, now you're disciplined. When your actions back your promises, now you're disciplined. When your lifestyle supports your values, now you're disciplined. And the best part, discipline compounds. At first it feels small, unnoticed. You make your bed. You skip the sugar. You read 10 pages. But give it time, weeks, months, years. Eventually the world calls you lucky. But you'll know better. It wasn't luck. It was discipline. Layered, built, earned, day by day, choice by choice, hour by hour. And that's something no one can take from you. Not the market, not the critics, not the economy, not your past. Because discipline is internal. It's yours. Forever. So start now. Today. This hour. This moment. You've got goals. Build a system around them. You've got dreams. Build structure beneath them. You want peace. Build consistency around your priorities. Don't wait for the new year. Don't wait for the motivation. Don't wait for someone to believe in you. Discipline is not about waiting. It's about choosing. Choosing now. Choosing daily. Choosing with or without applause. That's how you build a life you don't need to escape from. That's how you become the kind of person people can trust. And more importantly, the kind of person you can trust. Because that's the final piece no one talks about. Discipline isn't about the outside. It's about building trust with yourself. And when you trust yourself, everything changes.